On doing the push-ups. I haven't done a single one yet, and it's gonna be 9 o'clock. Once it's 9 o'clock, it's too late. We got to get on the train in the next 10 minutes to get back before curfew. And it right there, discombobulated. Tell my personal assistant I need this. Tell my personal assistant I need this. Tell my personal assistant I need this. We got in one job application today. It expends that much cognitive energy. That's how much time it takes us. I don't have someone to program. I can't work with a developer. I don't know who to pay, who to talk to. Tell my personal assistant, let's set me up with a developer, pay someone on, what is it called, Fiverr.com or something like that in India, a couple $100 if we have to set something up where AI generates. We have an OpenAI API key, and we'll have it generate, have cross-checks done, cover letter text, and then resume text for a job on Indeed.com. Just by verbal command, I ask it. Someone has to help me set that up. That's something my brain just can't go to the next step. Right there, boom, tell my personal assistant, and work starts on it. He delegates, if necessary, tasks to my other servants and the support team. So again, we're a minute into this. If we don't finish this in 3 minutes, it's over. I got to go do the push-ups. I got to do 100. I got to do 200. We got to get it up there. This is the most important thing. My physical fitness is the most important thing no matter what, because when I get all of that endorphin running through my body, when I rip my muscles, especially the core muscle, and that's what push-ups can do. There's a lot of other stuff I can do too, but we're getting back into it. Start with the push-ups, get them going, and because I can't run yet. I don't have Hoka's, I don't have Brooks running shoes. I'm hoping in the next couple of days, maybe Monday or Tuesday, I'll get some money that's going to come in. I'll be able to get a pair of running shoes, and that's an important thing. I can take a run every morning down to the airport and back, and that weight loss is going to totally accelerate. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to make it to the LA Marathon and put up a competitive time. Not only complete it and have that under my belt, but put up a competitive time, my first time in it next year. But what I wanted to say is that I wanted to talk a little bit about, so we're in this Father Joe's villages, sleeping on bunk beds. And yeah, I know the military goes through this, but the military signed up for it. And the other thing is, this isn't just career, but at a certain point, you can live in, for instance, in Hawaii, and they've got here too, there's Navy housing. You see the people on the trolley that are with that company that services military housing, and they're the, what do you call them, porters or whatever, that go and do basic maintenance on the housing for the people, So there's a lot of things they do. So you could say, oh, the Navy is worse off than you, but they signed up for it. And I'm 34 years old, and it's that sex is important, and sex is medication, and often these psychiatric drugs are in lieu of the sex that we need. So the fact that Father Joe's is, even though it's complete sacrilege, it's related to Catholic to the extent that Father Joe was a priest. It's got nothing to do with the San Diego Diocese or anything like that, but Father Joe was a priest. They have this thing where they wash the feet of prisoners. And, the Pope is known to wash the feet of prisoners at that, in Rome, there's a jail that the Pope always visits, and he washes the feet of the prisoners because feet stink. And, these aren't, it's just not just a religious thing where the feet have to be clean. No, these are prisoners. The feet stink, and it's to shut down your sexuality. You smell other men's feet, your penis gets shut down. But if your penis gets shut down and you can't spurt jism out your cock, like you need, I at least once a day, I got to come inside of a woman. I got to come inside a woman. And that's part of my medication. But so these medications, like I said, when they start administering them to us, often we're early teens or, 11 or 12. And what happens is, this is because we're starting to want to have sex. And because of that, we start to overcompensate in certain areas. Like I was talking about, okay, we only got a minute left. Like I was talking about, we start to try to ramp ourselves up. We do autistic stimming or schizophrenic hallucinating or whatever they call it. We're spinning wheelchair all around. And these outbursts are because we are fighting back against the parts of our brain that are not in alignment with the fastest part of our brain. If you're like I am, and what ends up happening over time, that's the problem with the IQ test. I have split brain. I have verbal IQ up here and visual-spatial IQ all the way down here. But if I were faster, if I were walking faster, if I were more athletic, it would have actually ended up over time, because this has to do with accumulation and change. Over time, accumulation, and so accumulation of quantity so over time, I would have ended up going the other way. If I were walking faster, picking up on a different universe where I would have actually had higher visual-spatial IQ, lower verbal IQ. Why? Think about it. Make this connection. all these words, high vocabulary, this is to wheelchair people because I got to tell a servant, do this, do this, do this, do this. Because I'm disabled and everything about me is slow, I have to tell a teacher thing. I have to find a way to explain in the shortest amount of time. And big words enable that, like Michel Foucault says. So he said, it's got to be a lot of words. Is what he said. It can't be, or it has to be lexicon. It has to be jargon, academic jargon, gated discourse communities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to learn all that. But if I were moving faster, I wouldn't need that. I just have my dick and pussy. I'd have my dick and pussy. And so being around stink men, being in a situation like that, and and around slow people, and it slows us down to be sexually repressed because we don't have prescribed this part. I'm not saying, I will never ever say we should just be having sex. We should just be having sex, but not not to the extent that we should get medication to shut down our penises. And when I was a teenage boy, when I started taking this medication, like, who do you tell about this? That it had sexual side effects. I'm like, a 12-year-old shouldn't have to take Viagra to jack off. A 13-year-old shouldn't have to take Viagra to jack off. Who do you tell about that? I mean, Mom, I'm not spurting horse jism anymore. It just never ends up getting through to the doctor, but you take your medication, and over time a little more comes out, and it translates, just like being someone that never thought to move faster, because over time that means you're going to have a higher verbal IQ versus a higher visual-spatial IQ in those domains, because you have to wheelchair everybody to make you as a slower person, to make them do things for you. Over time, that means your penis isn't going to develop, because whatever it's doing, whether it's prolactin levels or whatever it is. So we're out of time. But I just wanted to say, I don't want to wash the feet of other men. And so it's not that you have to prescribe a prostitute for me or a special wife just for the purpose of sexual medication, because if that's done too slowly, it has no positive impact on my outcomes. It has to be where I snatch it. It can't be, okay, we're going to prescribe an autistic girl that's going to bend over so you can doggy style her for exercise. But if she's slow, if she's not helping me get anywhere in every way, so I got to grab women. I talked about that thing about if girls were paid crypto in Encinitas that were wearing running shoes and carrying the yoga mats, I need them kind of trying to skirt away, and for me to grab them, I need women playing a game with me like this. But that's really the game that they all did play. And if I were picking up on that because I wasn't taking medications, I would have snatched one of them and she wouldn't have been retarded. You get what you get. I talk about being attracted to these elite women. I mean, in the end, you get what you get, but look what I got. Nothing. So,